I'm also here for Abdul Rahman Al-Awlaki. Raise your hand if you know him. Abdul Rahman Al-Awlaki. Excuse me for my bad pronunciation. He's a 16-year-old boy, son of a cleric. We first killed his father, Anwar Al-Awlaki. He was a U.S. citizen, and another U.S. citizen killed them with a U.S. drone strike. And 2 weeks later, while his son, probably not knowing that his father had been killed, had not seen his father for 2 years. He was born in Denver, Colorado, U.S. citizen, 16-year-old boy, not a militant, just trying to find his father he hadn't seen for 2 years, sitting in a restaurant in Yemen, and a U.S. drone strike hit a 16-year-old U.S. boy, citizen. Now, it doesn't matter whether they're citizens or not citizens. All these drone strikes are totally illegal. But I want these children who are targeted. And the last name I want to read, there's so many thousands of names we could read today, is something I was reminded of this morning. There's a journalist from Yemen, Abdullah Haidar Shayeh. Anybody know that name? A journalist from Yemen. Shayeh had been known for doing exceptional investigative journalism, and he actually, back in December 17th, 2009, a missile strike hit and killed 14 women and 21 children in Yemen during the Obama administration. And he photographed the missiles that had made in USA on these missiles. And he was put in prison, and there was a huge protest in Yemen to release him, and finally the president was going to pardon him. And guess who called the president of Yemen to tell him not to release a journalist? The President of the United States, that's right. So I'm here for this journalist, I'm here for this man who never became a photojournalist, and I'm here for all the innocent children that are killed. And I do want to say that one of the big things that Code Pink is doing is going to drone bases regularly. We go up to Beale Air Force Base every month for an overnight encampment, and we want our numbers to grow. The military is starting to hear our voices, but they need to see hundreds of us there. And we have our second civil disobedience planned this month on the 29th and 30th. If you can get off work, or if you're retired and you can join us, come sign on this list, because you don't have to risk arrest, but you can be there to support those who are willing to risk arrest. And we have also a big day tomorrow, not tomorrow, on Monday in Sacramento. There were 9 people arrested in October to protest drone warfare at Beale, north of Sacramento, and they have a trial coming up. And so we have a solidarity action in Sacramento at the Federal Building Monday at 8:30, and we need you guys to come up and join us. We're going to bring the big model drone up there. We're going to have a press conference, and then we're going to take bloody hands into Senator Boxer's office and Congresswoman Matsui. Yay. And if Feinstein had an office there, we would go into her office and tell her, you are making us have blood on our hands because we pay taxes. Monday is tax day, as you know. And we're going to tell our Congress people, you're forcing us to have blood on our hands. We don't want blood on our hands. When are you going to do your job? When are you going to honor the Constitution of the United States and stop killing people on these poor people of the world? They're our sisters and brothers, and we want it to stop now. So come sign up if you can join any of those 2 activities, or if you can't and you want to be involved in the military base actions that we organize, please come and put your name and email, and I'll get you on our list. So, do we have time for a quick poem? No? Okay. End of the march, but thank you for listening.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Don Beckler from Single Player Now.
Thank you. And thank all of you for coming out today. You, and along with Bradley Manning, are the most patriotic Americans in America. You're the ones trying to make change, so we have a country we can be proud of. I want to say one other thing about Obama. Well, a couple things about Obama. People who think this guy is the lesser evil have got to get over that. He's the more intelligent evil. He's doing things that Bush could never do. He is droning people. He's keeping the war going longer than Bush could go. He's deporting more people than Bush could get away with. He is subsidizing the private insurance companies, something that Bush could never get away with. And now he's trying to cut back on Medicare, something that Bush could never get away with. And now he's attacking Social Security, something that Bush could never get away with. So the ask for all this is to organize, organize, organize. Sign everybody's clipboard here. We have one for single payer now. We fight for our national health care program minus the insurance companies. By the way, that would save $400 billion a year, but more importantly, it would deliver health care to everybody in this country. And this country spends twice as much money on health care as any other nation on earth. There's no reason we can't have a good national health care system. So sign everybody's clipboard. We have some cards here that you can protest about having a national health care program. And keep on marching, and thank yourself and everybody next to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we just have a quick fun pitch by Richard Becker, the Answer Coalition.
Thank you to everyone for being here today and all the organizations that have been working on this. And you know, in February 2002, in Afghanistan was the first recorded use of a drone to kill as a weapon of targeted assassination. And this is what they said at the beginning. They said that the operators saw a tall man, and there were two other men with him, and they were acting reverential toward him. So they decided that the tall man was Osama bin Laden. And they fired the missile and killed all three of them. And later, the spokespersons for the Pentagon said things like, "We think something untoward was happening there and it needed to go away. We're sure that they weren't innocent peasant farmers." Well, finally some journalists went there and checked it out, and it turned out who these three men were three very poor men who were salvaging metal. Had nothing to do with anything. And the lies that were told are the lies that have continued to be used to justify this program of targeted assassination, of murder from the skies ever since. As someone mentioned earlier, 98%, according to the NYU Stanford study, of the people killed were not quote-unquote high-value targets. But every single person who was killed, no matter what they call them, no matter what lies they tell about them, that was an illegal act. That was a war crime. Those are all war crimes. They want to use drones as lethal weapons because they're lethal, but also because they are politically convenient. They are politically convenient because they can wage war on the cheap. They want to be able to kill others and not risk their own personnel. We have to oppose every kind of U.S. war and intervention. We have to oppose imperialism in every form that it takes, whether it's deadly sanctions or deadly drones or troops on the ground or bombs from the air. We have to oppose all forms of intervention and imperialism. So I'm not going to say any more except this. It takes money to put on activities like today. We printed thousands of flyers and posters, and we are asking you if you can help us to cover the expenses today. Some people are going to come around now with white buckets. If you would like to write a check, you can write a tax-deductible check to Progress Unity Fund, which supports the work of the Answer Coalition. That's Progress Unity Fund. But please put whatever you can in the buckets. You know, we need, today is one day, it's part of 1 month of struggle against the drones, but this is going to be a long struggle, and we need to have resources to be able to go forward, as well as cover the expenses of today. Thank you very much. No more drones.
Thank you, Richard Becker. Next speaker is Jeff Mackler from the United National Anti-War Coalition.
Glad to be here, and thanks especially to Answer for initiating this wonderful protest on this beautiful day. I just wish it was a beautiful day for the rest of the people on Earth. As many of you know, April is the Anti-Drone Month. A nationwide coalition has come together to organize protests like this everywhere in the United States. So you're marching with the best of humanity, and you're marching tragically against the worst of humanity today. The greatest offender, the one whose military expenditures exceed the combined total of the whole world, the one who drops drones on civilians and has already murdered 3,000 people, the one, that is the United States government, that just sent 3,500 troops and is establishing drone stations in 35 African countries to kill innocent people. Why is this done? Why do we have troops and 110 military bases all over the United States? Why is this the policy of the United States government? It's the policy because this is a government not of working people, not of the oppressed, but of the rich, of those who have been bailed out to the tune of trillions, of those who store $20 trillion in offshore tax havens and pay no taxes. United National Anti-War Coalition stands for bring the troops home now, the drones home now, the weapons of mass destruction now, and the mercenary armies. Half of the soldiers in Afghanistan are privatized, American-paid mercenary armies in the tens of thousands. No U.S. intervention anywhere. Stop the demonization of peoples like they're demonizing the president of Korea. Here we have the United States invaded Korea, killed 4 million people in the Korean War, just staged nuclear war games on the Korean border with the most advanced bombers in the history of the world, mobilized 13,000 U.S. troops and 200,000 Korean troops in mock attacks against Korea. And the response of the Korean president was literally to take a boat to an offshore island of Korea saying we will defend ourselves. What a terrible tragedy that one of the poorest nations of the world is the victim of perhaps the next U.S. war. We say hands off North Korea, hands off the world, hands off the Syrian people. It's their right to self-determination, not ours. We shouldn't and mustn't determine the future of any nation on earth. No one appointed us but the ruling rich as the cop of the world. Out now everywhere, money for jobs, for working people, against oppression, and I mean oppression. Today the United States has the largest prison industrial complex in the world. 7.3 million people are under the jurisdiction of that criminal, quote, justice system. Half of them are in prison, the largest number in the world. And yet, 500,000 more, 3,000 more are on death row. Free all political prisoners, and a special free Mumia Abu Jamal, free Lynn Stewart, free all political prisoners, and thank you, Answer, for calling this fine march.
Thank you. I promise 2 more speakers and we'll start marching. Next speaker is Toya Moreno from the National Committee to Free the Cuban Five.
Hi. Like Salma said, I'm with the Committee to Free the Cuban Five. We all heard here today that over 5,000 people have been killed by drones. That majority of those people are children. That the attacks are happening in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Yemen, Somalia, countries that we don't even hear anything that says that the U.S. is in a war with. And now it's expanding towards Africa. The U.S. is building a base in Niger. The U.S. has, for drones, the U.S. has over 100 bases in Germany. What other country in the world, from Brazil, what other country in the world do you know that has military organizations like AFRICOM for continents to patrol those continents and control those continents that they are not even in war with? You know, so I just want to point out what the Cuban Five, the 5 heroes was doing here in the U.S. They were specific trying to stop terrorism. If you don't ever heard of, in Miami, there are Cuban right-wing terrorist groups that have been doing and carrying on attacks against Cuba for decades. And they were sent here not in any clandestine operation. The U.S. knew they were coming here to try to stop specifically those terrorism attacks by infiltrating those groups and letting the government knows, the Cuban government knows, any possible attack to try to stop it before happening. And now they're in jail and they're being arrested. Meanwhile, the U.S. claim that they're fighting terrorism, killing children, and they're carrying on all these illegal operations, because if you are flying drones in other countries' airspace and you are invading their airspace law, those are laws that are not in compliance with the laws of these own countries. These are laws that are not even brought up to the UN. And I just want to point out how things have changed so fast and are changing in the last decade or so. What is the difference with what Colin Powell did in the UN when he was justifying the invasion of Iraq and what is happening right now with the drones war? Is that the main difference when Colin Powell went there with those ridiculous slideshows to try to claim that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, is that at that time they even tried to care of justifying. Now they're not even justifying anything. Now they sit on those Tuesdays meetings with those killing lists with ridiculous reasons that have been pointed out here already, that any male between the age of 20 and 40 could be killed. That is not even a care to justification. When they tried to do that in Iraq, the whole world protested. The whole world came out and protested that. And we need to show them that because there's changing tactics of not even caring about compliance with law or caring about telling the people what they're doing, it doesn't mean that the people is not caring about what they're doing. We need to mobilize as big as we did when there was the attempt to start the Iraq war. We need to keep this. We need to make this April month a very strong demonstration and show them that we are paying attention, we do care, we're not allowing them to continue these illegal wars with these killing machines that they're building. Thank you.
Last speaker is Les Friedman from the Oscar Grant Committee.
Thank you, everybody. The Oscar Grant Committee Against Police Brutality and State Repression at our plenary meeting voted to endorse today's demonstration and the struggle against drones. The Oscar Grant Committee is in solidarity with this action. And since our focus is against state repression and police brutality, the drones employed within the United States are an instrument of spying on and intimidation of the American people. We strongly oppose the U.S. governmental policy. Drones will target in particular all those who struggle against the racist injustice system and those that fight against the attacks against working people around the world by the U.S. government. The drones are a continuation of existing U.S. government surveillance and indefinite detention and undermining and vitiation of habeas corpus and judicial review supposedly enshrined in the legal corpus of the U.S. government system. The entire working class and their allies must be vigilant and mobilize against this undermining of our civil rights and the further centralization of executive power at the expense of democratic rights of the majority of U.S. citizens. Free Mumia Abu Jamal, free Bradley Manning, free the remaining Angola 3. Thank you very much.
Yay! Watch out for Lieutenant Shea. He's lurking around here somewhere. He likes to beat people up.
We're going to line up going up.
If you don't believe me, check out my live stream from last week. So I guess we're about ready to march, folks. There's about 100, maybe 200 people here. I have no idea which direction we're going to go in. I guess we're going to find out in a second.
Okay, we're going to march towards the UN Plaza, so we're going to line up that way.
All right, well, I'm going to try and keep up with the
And
march.
follow the banner that says US drones out.
You know me, I'm a slow motherfucker. So I'll be doing my best to keep up. If I can't keep up, well, that's the way it goes, folks. Yeah, we got lots and lots of people here. I'm going to go up and say hi to one of my favorite
There's some
people.
volunteers who are available to help
That is if I can.
move the drone. Please
Excuse me,
move
ladies.
over here.
There he is.
Hey,
You got something you want to say to the folks out there, pal?
Yeah, keep doing it.
Just teasing. I'm in an ornery kind of way. I'm out here. I'm still looking for Lieutenant Shea. Oh, there he is. There's the wife beater over there. Where's he at, Odds? There's Lieutenant Shea. Right, known attacker of women.
Did you see?
Right.
Did you see Victor?
No, I haven't seen Victor.
Victor was here. I know.
Yeah, I'm excited, bro.
On the march, I know.
Glad to see all these people here. Hey, brother and sister, nice to see you here. Namaste.
Are you going to go on the march?
I'm going to try. You know, I'm getting around pretty good now. You know, let's walk up to the. I'm going to walk up to the corner and get it. Anyway, we got this wonderful drone here, folks. It really should have came down to Powell Market. It's an absolutely lovely day here in San Francisco. So I'm going to limp along with this march, folks.
Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to be marching. I think you got to move that thing and twist it to the front. All right. And then there's a drone coming, so we got to be careful with this one.
Now there's the wife beater over there.
All right. We're being followed by the drone. Oh, we have to catch up to the drone. Okay, let's fight against it. All right, brothers and sisters. Wall Street's war! We say no! Drone killing's got to go! Wall Street's war! We say no! Drone killing's got to go! Wall Street's war! We say no! Drone killing's got to go! Wall Street's war! We say no! Drone killing's got to go! Come on, brothers and sisters, I know we had a rally. I know you're still trying to stretch out your legs. Are you listening? But now it's time to get loud, get proud, because, again, we're out here to speak to the public. Speak to the public that doesn't listen.
Yeah, so if you call me
We got a nice little crowd here today, marching down Market Street in San Francisco, and we're going to be headed for UN Plaza. How you doing there, little dude? Anyway, that's the crowd here. We go have about 200 people.